Hello all, I am the Holland Phantom, and for today's video we're going to be having a live battle in a Team Rocket through Legendary Collection format. On one side, we've got the Dark Haunter and Dark Crobat deck, going up against the Sabrina's Haunter deck, with both lists created by 3-time World Champion Jason Klaczynski. The Dark Haunter deck is going to be focused on using Dark Golbat and Dark Crobat's Pokemon powers to take KOs on low HP Pokemon like baby Pokemon. And then Dark Haunter can bring them back onto the field with its callback attack, and then the whole process is going to be repeated over and over until the player takes all 6 prizes. In the Sabrina's Haunter deck, is going to be focused on setting up as many Sabrina's Ghastly, Haunter, and Gengar on their side of the field, to then use Haunter's Night Spirit's attack, which flips a coin for each Ghost Pokemon on their side of the field, and then deals 30 damage times the number of heads, with the potential of hitting for up to 180 damage with the full bench. So we'll see which of these two decks can take the victory today. But before we begin, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel and to my Twitter account, at Holland_Phantom, so you don't miss out on any new Pokemon TCG content. And now with it out of the way, let's get into the battle! And here we go, the battle has started, with both players flipping over their starting Pokemon. On the Dark Haunter side, we've got Cleffa as the active Pokemon, and on the Sabrina's Haunter side, we've got Sabrina's Ghastly as the active Pokemon. The Sabrina side is going first, attaching a Psychic Energy to the active Ghastly and then activating Good Manners. The player's going to be revealing their hand to show that they don't have any basic Pokemon in their hand, and now they can search their deck for one, so they're going to be searching for Brock's Vulpix, which comes down onto the bench. Okay, now the player's going to be activating Master Ball to look at the top 7 cards of their deck, and then they can keep any Pokemon that they find in their hand, and then they can shuffle the rest of the cards back into the deck. So let's see what they get. And they're going to be adding Sabrina's Haunter to their hand. It's going to be the main attacker of the deck. So possibly on the following turn, the Sabrina's Ghastly can evolve and start dealing some damage. Okay, there we see the first attack. It's going to be Lick Attack. But first the player has to do a coin flip to see if he gets through Cleffa's baby power. But it was a tail, so nothing happened. Okay, now the turn passes over to the Dark Haunter side. Another Cleffa comes down to the bench. The active one gets a Psychic Energy, and the player's going to be activating their own Good Manners. Also revealing their hand. They don't have any basic Pokemon of their own, so they can search their deck for Ghastly, which comes down onto the bench. This Ghastly is going to be the main attacker once it evolves into Dark Haunter. And now Ghastly is going to be getting a Focus Band, and there's the attack, Eek! So Cleffa's going to be shuffling away the player's hand, and then drawing 7 brand new cards to refresh their hand for the following turn, hoping to draw into the Dark Haunter, and also some Zubat to place onto the bench. Now back over to the Sabrina side, there we see the second Psychic Energy coming down to the Sabrina's Ghastly. We do know the player has the Haunter, and yeah, there it is. It evolves into Sabrina's Haunter. The Vulpix evolves into Brock's Ninetales, which now activates the Pokemon power Shapeshift, letting it transform into a second Sabrina's Haunter. And there we see the trainer card, Professor Elm, to shuffle away the player's hand and draw 7 brand new cards. It has the exact same effect as Cleffa's Eek Attack, but now the player can't use any more trainer cards for the rest of their turn. So let's see if they get any more Ghastly to place onto their bench. Yeah, there we see 1. There's the attack, Night Spirits, but again, let's see if the attack goes through the baby power, and yes it does. Okay, now Haunter can flip 3 coins, and let's see how many hits they get. It's going to be a total of 1, but it's going to be enough as Night Spirits hits for 30 damage, taking the first KO against Cleffa and taking the first prize of the game. Okay, on the other side there we see the second Cleffa coming into the active spot, and the player's going to be benching another Cleffa along with the Zubat, and now the Ghastly evolves into Dark Haunter, which then gets a Psychic Energy, and there we see Professor Elm to once again shuffle away the player's hand, drawing 7 brand new cards. They need to get some more basic Pokemon onto the bench, some Zubat, so they can deal some damage once they evolve into Golbat and Crobat, along with more Ghastly to evolve into Dark Haunter, and speaking of which, there's 1, and that's going to be it. Turn passes without an attack. Back over to the Sabrina side, the player's going to be attaching a Focus Band to the active Haunter, and there we see Brock's Training Method to search the deck for any Pokemon with Brock in its name. It's going to be another Brock's Vulpix coming down onto the bench. There's the attack, Night Spirits, so let's see if it gets through the baby power. It's going to be a Tails that time, and nothing happens. So the turn automatically ends. Going back over to the other side, the player's going to be activating Erica's Perfume on the Dark Haunter side, looking at their opponent's hand, and they find a Cleffa there, forcing the Sabrina player to place the Cleffa onto the bench. And with 30 HP, it's going to be really easy to take the KO against it. Again, now the player's going to be attaching a Psychic Energy to their Ghastly, and there we see Zubat evolving into Dark Golbat to activate the Pokemon Power Sneak Attack. dealing 10 damage to their opponent's Cleffa. And then we see the boss's way, searching the deck for any dark Pokemon. And they're going to be searching for Dark Haunter to evolve their second Ghastly. And once again, the turn is going to be passing without an attack. It doesn't really matter that much in this deck because they don't take the KOs through attacking, but through the Pokemon powers. Okay, on the other side, there we see the Vulpix evolving into another Ninetales, followed by Professor Elm to shuffle away the player's hand, drawing some more cards, hoping to get some more Ghost Pokemon to place onto their bench. So if they get another evolution, they can shapeshift this Ninetales into another Haunter or possibly a Gengar. Okay, there we see another Ghastly coming down, it's a total of 4 Ghost Pokemon. There we see Shapeshift, transforming the Ninetales into Gengar. And now Night Spirits can flip a total of 5 coins, but first... Okay, there was another Tails. It still doesn't get through the baby power. This Sabrina's Haunter does not want to take KOs against babies. But that does not apply to Dark Crobat. It evolves, activating the Pokemon Power Surprise Bite, taking the KO against Cleffa. This Crobat is not afraid to take KOs against baby Pokemon. It'll do it all day, every day. So now both players have taken their first prize card. And then we see Dark Haunter coming into the active spot. It gets its own Focus Band, followed by Professor Elm, shuffling away the player's hand, drawing 7 brand new cards. And now, okay, the player still has one more open bench spot, so they need to set up another Zubat to start evolving into another Dark Crobat later on. Okay, just making some space on their bench. Did they get it? Yes, they did! Another Zubat comes down. There's the attack. It's going to be Call Back, bringing back the Cleffa that was just KO'd onto the bench, also giving it 10 damage, so Cleffa is down to just 20 HP. Another Dark Crobat can easily take the KO. On the Sabrina's Haunter side, the bench Sabrina's Haunter gets the second Psychic Energy, and there we see Master Ball. Once again, looking at the top 7 cards of the deck, looking for any Pokemon, so let's see what they find. And they're going to be finding their third Sabrina's Haunter, so one of these Ghastly can evolve. There we go. So a total of 3 Haunter, 1 Ghastly, and a Gengar. There's the attack, Night Spirits, flipping 5 coins. Let's see how many heads they get. That's 1, 2, hitting for 60 damage. Enough to take the KO against Dark Haunter, but it does activate the Focus Band. And now the Dark Haunter player flips a coin, and they get a Tails. It does nothing. So Dark Haunter is KO'd, and Sabrina's Haunter is going to be taking their second prize card. Okay, then we see the next Cleffa coming into the active spot. Another Zubat comes down to the bench. And then we see the Hyper Devolution Spray de-evolving the Dark Crobat, sending it back into the player's hand. And they're going to be passing the turn, so on the following turn the Dark Golbat can once again evolve into the Crobat to take the KO against Cleffa. And there's the Night Spirits. And another Tails. Still doesn't want to attack this baby Pokemon. Okay, on the other side, the Dark Crobat once again comes down, taking the KO against Cleffa again for the second prize card. Yeah, like I said, this Dark Crobat is not afraid to hit baby Pokemon. There we see the second Dark Haunter coming into the active spot. There's the attack. Call Back, bringing back the Cleffa onto the bench with 10 damage. Okay, turn passes. No cards are played, going straight for the attack, Night Spirits, flipping 5 coins. They just need 2 heads for the KO. And they get exactly 2, hitting for 60 damage. But once again, it does trigger the Focus Band. So let's see if it activates this time. Here's the coin flip. And it is going to be a heads that time, so Dark Haunter is not KO'd. It is left with 10 HP remaining. So it only takes 40 damage, giving it one more turn to use its callback attack. Okay, over to the Dark Haunter side, there we see both of the Zubat evolving into Dark Golbat, both of them activating Sneak Attack, taking the KO against Cleffa, taking a third prize card. There we see the Hyper Devolution Spray, once again picking up the Dark Crobat back into the hand, along with the Psychic Energy onto the Cleffa. And there's the attack, Callback. Again, bringing back the Cleffa with 10 damage on it, so either of these Golbat can evolve into Dark Crobat to take the KO next turn. Okay, there we see the Night Spirits flipping 5 coins, and it's going to be just 1 heads, but it's still more than enough to take the KO. And that is going to be the third prize card taken by Sabrina's Haunter. Both players are tied at 3 prizes remaining apiece. The next Cleffa comes back into the active spot. There we see another Ghastly coming down to the bench, which then gets a Psychic Energy. And one of the Golbat evolves into Dark Crobat, activating its Pokemon Power Surprise Bite to take the KO against Cleffa. And that's going to be the 4th prize card taken by the Dark Haunter. There we see Super Scoop Up. Here's the coin flip. And it's going to be a heads, picking up the entire Dark Crobat line back into the player's hand to recycle their Pokemon powers. So there we see the Zubat coming back down to the bench. And the player's going to be passing their turn. They won't attack, so they don't have to shuffle away their Pokemon. Okay, the Sabrina's Haunter player activates Nightly Garbage Run, searching the discard pile for that discarded Cleffa to shuffle back into the deck. Okay, here we go. And now the Dark Haunter player doesn't have a target to bring back onto the bench. Alright, there we see Night Spirits attacking. Here's the coin flip, and it's another Tails! Once again, Sabrina's Haunter is refusing to attack. Okay, there we see a Dark Golbat and a Dark Crobat, both of them activating their Pokemon powers, dealing exactly 30 damage onto Sabrina's Ghastly. So they didn't need the Cleffa. They still had another 30 HP Pokemon to take the KO. Taking their 5th prize card, and now Ghastly evolves into Dark Haunter. And there's the attack, callback, to bring back the Sabrina's Ghastly with 10 damage. So Ghastly's down to just 20 HP left. Another Dark Crobat will take the KO. Okay, there we see Night Spirits flipping the 5 coins again. And it's going to be a total of 3 heads, hitting for 90 damage. There's no Focus Band this time, so it's a really quick KO. Sabrina's Haunter has taken 4 prize cards. Okay, there we see Cleffa coming back into the active spot. Did the player get their Dark Crobat? Oh, no, they don't. Okay, so they reveal their hand with the Good Manners. They got a lot of trainer cards and some energies, but no Dark Crobat, so they search their deck for another Ghastly. And then Ghastly gets a Psychic Energy. And there we see the Professor Elm to shuffle away the player's hand. Again, searching for just one more Dark Crobat to take the final KO and win this game. They got 7 brand new cards. Did they get the Pokemon they need? No, they didn't! They're going to be passing the turn. Okay, on the other side, there we see the Master Ball. Looking at the top 7 cards of the deck. So let's see if they find a Pokemon. And they found their final Sabrina's Haunter to evolve their Sabrina's Ghastly, giving it 20 more HP, so a Dark Crobat can no longer take the KO. The Dark Haunter player needs 2 Dark Crobat to take the KO now. Okay, and looks like the Haunter's going to be retreating to promote the Gengar. It doesn't have any energy cards. Oh, here we go. The player activates Double Gust. So now both players have to target down one of their opponent's benched Pokemon to bring into the active spots. It's going to be a Dark Golbat going up against Sabrina's Haunter. And as Sabrina's Haunter is just going to retreat to bring up one of the powered-up Haunters. Yeah, it's important to remember that in this format, a player can retreat as many times as they want per turn. They are not limited to just 1 retreat per turn, like in the modern format. Okay, there's the attack. Night Spirits taking the KO against Dark Golbat, as it does hit for weakness. And now both players are tied at 1 prize remaining apiece. Okay, the Cleffa comes back into the active spot. Just 1 Golbat evolves. Actually, yeah, it's the only one left. The Golbat evolves into Dark Crobat, dealing 20 damage to the benched Haunter. Yeah, because it evolved, it has a 20 extra HP, so it's not KO'd. The player's going to be activating the Hyper Devolution Spray, de-evolving one of their Crobat into a Golbat. So on the following turn, they can't take the KO, but here's the attack. Night Spirits, they get a heads. Okay, now they get to flip 5 coins. If just one of them is a heads, they can win this turn. Here we go. And they got... yeah, they got 1! It's exactly what they need. So Cleffa's KO taking the final prize card, and there's the handshake! Sabrina's Haunter is your winner! So what did you guys think of that battle? Let me know down in the comments below. And be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video to help this channel grow and reach new viewers. Thanks a lot for watching, and until next time, this is the Holland Phantom logging out.